The Philosophy of Stoicism. Massimo Pigliucci'S modern approach. What if I told you that a 2,300-year-old philosophy could be the answer to modern anxiety? That the ancient Greeks and Romans already figured out how to navigate the chaos of life. In a world that feels increasingly out of control, more people are turning to Stoicism, not as an escape from reality, but as a way to face it head-on. Today, we're diving into the philosophy of Stoicism through the lens of one of its most compelling modern advocates, philosopher Massimo Pigliucci, a man who took ancient wisdom and made it accessible for the 21st century. Title card animation: The Philosophy of Stoicism. Massimo Pigliucci'S modern approach. Who is Massimo Pigliucci? Before we dive into Stoicism itself, let's meet our guide. Massimo Pigliucci isn't your typical ivory tower philosopher. Born in Italy, he began his career as a scientist, earning PhDs in both evolutionary biology and philosophy of science. But in 2014, something changed. Pigliucci experienced what he calls his philosophical conversion to Stoicism. After decades of academic work, he found in this ancient practice something more meaningful than theory, a practical philosophy for living well. His 2017 book, How to Be a Stoic, became a gateway for thousands seeking ancient wisdom in modern times. What sets Pigliucci apart is his ability to translate complex philosophical ideas into practical daily habits. For Pigliucci, Stoicism isn't a relic to be studied. It's a living tradition to be practiced. As he often says, philosophy that doesn't improve your life is just mental gymnastics. What is Stoicism, really? Let's clear something up right away. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions or enduring pain with a stiff upper lip. That's the popular misconception. The philosophy began around 300 BCE in Athens, where its founder Zeno taught under a painted colonnade called the Stoa Poikile, hence the name Stoicism. According to Pigliucci, Stoicism revolves around four cardinal virtues: wisdom, making good decisions based on experience and knowledge; courage, doing the right thing even when it's difficult; justice, treating others with fairness and kindness; temperance, exercising moderation and self-control. But the cornerstone of Stoic practice is what Pigliucci calls the dichotomy of control, understanding what we can and cannot influence in our lives. As the Stoic teacher Epictetus wrote nearly 2,000 years ago, some things are within our power, while others are not. Pigliucci argues that this simple distinction can revolutionize our relationship with everything from traffic jams to political turmoil. The modern Stoic toolkit. Pigliucci has adapted ancient Stoic exercises into what he calls the Stoic toolkit, practical techniques for everyday life. First is the practice of morning reflection. Pigliucci recommends starting each day by contemplating the challenges ahead and preparing yourself to face them virtuously. Next is the technique of negative visualization, briefly imagining losing the things you value. Not to induce anxiety, but to foster gratitude and prepare for life's inevitable changes. Another powerful tool is what Pigliucci calls cognitive distancing, the practice of stepping back from your initial emotional reactions and examining them objectively. Feeling angry at a coworker? A Stoic would pause and ask, is this anger helping me? Is this within my control? Finally, there's the evening reflection, reviewing your day's actions against your values. Where did you succeed? Where can you improve? This isn't self-punishment, but honest assessment for growth. As Pigliucci emphasizes, philosophy is not just about talking, but also about living. These aren't theoretical exercises, they're daily practices for real-world challenges. Stoicism versus modern psychology. One of Pigliucci's most fascinating contributions is highlighting the connection between ancient Stoicism and modern cognitive behavioral therapy. As he points out, CBT's core premise, that our thoughts shape our emotions, not external events, is essentially a Stoic concept repackaged for the 21st century. Aaron Beck, the founder of CBT, even acknowledged his debt to Stoicism, noting that the philosophical origins of cognitive therapy can be traced back to the Stoic philosophers. Similarly, modern mindfulness practices echo the Stoic emphasis on present moment awareness and detachment from destructive thought patterns. According to Pigliucci, This convergence isn't coincidental. It suggests that the Stoics discovered something fundamental about human psychology, principles so sound that modern science keeps rediscovering them. Stoicism in practice. Real-world examples. Let's see how Pigliucci'S modern Stoicism might play out in real-life situations. You're stuck in terrible traffic and running late for an important meeting. The non-Stoic response: frustration, anger, perhaps honking or aggressive driving. The Stoic approach: recognizing that the traffic is outside your control, but your response to it isn't. You use the time to listen to a podcast or simply practice patience. Or imagine receiving harsh criticism on a project you worked hard on. The natural reaction might be defensiveness or shame. The Stoic approach: separating your worth from external validation, extracting useful feedback while discarding the rest. Pigliucci often applies Stoicism to our fraught political climate. When you feel overwhelmed by the news, a Stoic would ask, what aspects of this can I influence? Where can I take meaningful action rather than just worry? Even in facing profound loss, Stoicism offers guidance. Not by suppressing grief, but by approaching it with the understanding that change and impermanence are natural parts of existence. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Pigliucci reminds us that much of our distress comes not from events themselves, but from our judgments about them. Critics and misconceptions. Pigliucci doesn't shy away from addressing Stoicism's critics. Some see the philosophy as emotionally repressive, promoting an unhealthy detachment from feelings. But as he explains, Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions, but about transforming destructive emotions into constructive ones. Anger can become righteous advocacy. Fear can become prudent caution. Others criticize Stoicism for promoting passive acceptance of injustice. If we focus only on what we can control, don't we risk ignoring societal problems? Pigliucci counters that Stoic justice demands active engagement with the world. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wrote that humans are born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes. True Stoicism isn't withdrawal, it's principled action within your sphere of influence. How to start your Stoic journey? Inspired to try Stoicism for yourself, Pigliucci offers a beginner's roadmap. Start with accessible readings. Pigliucci's How to be a Stoic provides an excellent entry point, as does a handbook for new Stoics, which offers 52 weeks of practical exercises. Begin with just one practice, perhaps a brief morning reflection where you consider the challenges of the day ahead and how you might face them virtuously.